What is up, my fellow nerds and gangsters? Welcome to the Spiffy Nerd Herder channel for this special late night edition of Spiffy Nerd Herder. So today I want to try something a little different. So I've tested this out, hoping it's working. But I want to give you my honest review of Star Wars Land, or AKA the Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, and I want to basically tell you everything I thought. So, Lunarian, what's up, dude? Welcome. You are the only person watching. You are a legend. Yeah, the thumbnail is just my stock thing that go up. I'll replace it with a new thumbnail later. But welcome. So I want to talk about Galaxy's Edge. So I'm going to do a little screen share with you guys. I was at the dedication of it, so I was there. I'm just going to go to screen share now, so you guys can see what I'm saying. But I was there for the dedication in front of the Falcon itself. Saw George and Harrison and Mark and Billy D. The Wookiee, of course, in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon was pretty sweet. And I had a pretty unique opportunity where I was able to go into the park a couple days before it opened at night when there's like nobody there. And I really got to check out everything pretty in depth. And so I want to share with you guys what I really thought, or really think about this, because I think it's pretty sweet. So feel free to ask any questions as we go. But to start off, I am blown away by Galaxy's Edge. I know a lot of people were wondering, is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be really cool? All right. Dropped out there for a second. My internet died. So let's get back into this, though. So you can see everything about the Millennium Falcon. The only thing you can't do is go inside of it. But while you're in the line for the solo ride, you can see everything. You can sit at the chess table, and it's pretty stellar. Now, as you guys know, all of this land is the planet of Batu. It's like a smuggler's outpost. So I personally would have wished that it would have been a sampling of planets throughout the Star Wars universe. I would have loved to see more. I would love to see Mustafar. I would have loved to see Tatooine. I would have loved to have seen. Naboo, but it's all one planet and it's all sequel trilogy. So there's very little original trilogy, which is surprising, and there's very little prequels. The biggest thing about the prequels is you get. Let me screen share again. let's see here. Let me just cycle through all this. You do have a little bit of Hondo. So the Millennium Falcon ride is basically you are Chewbacca and you are flying a smuggler's run for Hondo Ohnaka. Now the whole land is canon, so whatever that means for Episode 9, I don't know. I mean, does freaking does the Falcon end up in the hands of Hondo? Man, who knows? But that would be crazy if that were the case. Let's see here. One second. So, all right. Now let's see here. What else we got? So, like I said, you can see everything. You got the rectangular thing of the Falcon up there. This is the cantina, which is gonna be straight up packed if you ever go to it, because it's like it's standing room only, and it's just, but it's pretty awesome. Like you have a little DJ that's playing music. Unfortunately, it's not a live band like it is in the Mos Eisley Cantina. Let me go to some other pictures here of my own. I don't know if I have any of the cantina. Here's a picture of my own of the cantina. You got little like aliens that are kind of chilling up in tanks. But the cantina is pretty awesome. There are First Order stormtroopers walking around. And then here is kind of an upper place. Now it's like 14 acres, so it's absolutely huge. It's the biggest land of Disneyland. And so there's 3 restaurants, two straight up restaurants. Let me see if let me get a picture of one of the restaurants. One's called Docking Bay 94, and that's this one. It's kind of looks like a place that would be out of like Coruscant or something like that. But it's kind of this smuggler's restaurant. There is the cantina, which also serves food. And then there's also something called like Rondo's Roasters or something like that. Let me see if I can, I know there's an image of it here somewhere. Let me just see if I can find it. And these are all the cuisines and stuff like that you can eat. And they're all not bad. Plenty of different colored drinks. This thing right here in the center is kind of like a Jello with Pop Rocks in it. It was actually kind of good. Kind of tasted like, like glacier ice Gatorade. You got blue and green milk. Now, guys, it's $8 a pop for one of these bad boys. But I didn't taste it, but I just had a friend who went today, and he said it's actually pretty good. So, okay, this popcorn is actually not bad. It's kind of like a fruity popcorn. Come on, I do not want to see more pictures of, do I really have to look at all of them all? Okay, let me just cycle through these real quick. So there's a lot of kind of cool. And like I said, it's all one planet, so it's not a different sampling of planets. I forgot what I was looking for. I'm looking for Rondo's Roaster. Basically, it's this place that has a pod race engine that's cooking the food. And so that's a little bit of prequel of, here's where you buy the blue milk and the green milk. Now here's the droid shop. Essentially, you get to go in and construct your own droid. There's a big conveyor belt, and it comes by, and you just pick up whatever piece you want. You can see here we got a battle droid head, and then a variety of different types of droids. We got a BB unit here, and so by and large, like I said, it's all sequel trilogy. So it's let's see here. All right, so let me get to some of your questions here. They need to remove the broken down R3X from the Droid Factory in the Star Tours queue, or my idea of Galaxy's Edge will be ruined. Can't wait for Hollywood versions of it. It's going to be Hollywood Studios version of it. It's going to be insane. I want Hondo in Episode 9. They also there's also a nod to the Old Republic if you paid a bill for a lightsaber. Yeah, so if you do the lightsaber build, which I'll get to a picture of that here. I saw one. Yeah, you can your hilt can look like something from the Old Republic. So let's jump into that. I got a bunch of pictures from that. So you kind of got like here you have like a horned like hilt, which is pretty sweet. In this case, so basically it's like a whole ceremony when you build the lightsaber. And a friend of mine filmed it the other today, and I'm gonna probably post that video here in the coming days. But it's like you're a member of the Resistance and you're building a lightsaber. And so in this big like transport case, you get to basically choose your own kyber crystal. It like kind of comes out in this infinity stone looking thing. You got green, blue, purple, and red. Those are the colors you can choose from. And you actually take this crystal out, put it in the hilt of your lightsaber, and build it. So here's a little video that I shot when I was there. I'll mute the volume. But you kind of go through a set of doors, and then you go through this door, and you walk in, and you even got that whoosh sound, you know, of a door opening. Some of them, it sounds like they even have sound effects to make it sound like that. Others don't, but it still kind of makes that airy sound. So it's like you're in an underground cavern kind of looking thing as you're building these lightsabers, and you get to choose everything. It's totally customizable down to, you know, the color, and the blades are pretty intense, pretty sturdy. Of course, if you don't want one of those bad boys, you can buy one of, you know, you can buy Ahsoka's blades, you can buy Kylo, Luke, you can buy Mace Windu, Darth Vader, Maul, Count Dooku, a Sith Inquisitor blade, and Obi-Wan's from Episode 1. And you can see the prices here for those just hilts is, you know, 130, 109, 109. So, you know, it's not cheap, of course. So let's just kind of keep going here, though. Back to the droid factory, you can build your own droid. And they're fully, and they're remote control too. So you hook it up to your phone, I believe, and you can, you know, travel it all around. So that's in the Droid Depot. I can't remember how much those cost. And there's tons of like, these are like the cast members. So I never saw any cast members that had any makeup on, but they were all kind of dressed like, you know, they're from a Star Wars land. So it's kind of cool. I do wish they had some makeup stuff. Now this is from the other ride that's not open yet, Rise of the Resistance. I don't really know anything about that because it's not open. Sources have told me that the ride is totally finished, but they're just choosing not to open it yet. Why, I don't really know. But who knows? So I wanted to show you guys some pictures from one of the shops because it's pretty cool. It's this shop where an Ithorian is like the shopkeeper, and he can even, you know, he's an animatronic, and so he even kind of moves around and stuff. All right, so let's see. Cole Schubert says, not for the price, it's $200. I can pay for another day at Disneyland for that price. If it was $100, I totally would. Yeah, I mean, I know. It's pretty ridiculous. But, you know, if you go on like a Saber Forge or something like one of the Saber shops to buy a lightsaber, you know, you're going to be paying $200 anyways. So you kind of get the experience along with it for $200. So if you want to, you know, if you want one of those heavy duty lightsabers, by all means, go do it at Disneyland because you get a whole building experience out of it. So Marco, hey Marco, he asks, what's your favorite part? And give us a general score of 1 to 10. I would score it as a solid 8 or 9. Not a 10 because, like I said, I wish they would have done a little bit more. I wish they would have, let's see here. I wish they would have had more planets involved. Instead of just doing one singular planet. So this is your Ithorian buddy, and this is the lights in it. But one of the cool things I just want to show, on the wall, you got a ton of like Rebel helmets, a bunch of different stormtroopers. You can get, let's see here. There's a bunch of different relics. There's a big wampa that's kind of chilling right here. You have Tusken Raider stuff. There's even a golden, I don't know if you can see it. So I'm going to, right here. There's a golden Jar Jar Binks statue, man. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? Let me get past these stuff. You can, buy Harrison Dula's family, like heirloom thing. Imperial crests. You can buy the chess game, a model of the Mustafar's, Darth Vader's castle on Mustafar. Let me see here. You can get all the different types of jewelry, the Jakor snippet, really high quality stuff too. It's not kind of cheap plasticky stuff either. But as you can see, judging by the price, the Crimson Dawn half insignia necklace is $295. Come on, really? So it's all really expensive. There's a lot of shops, so of course, it's clear, where they want to make the money. They got an Emperor's cane, which was kind of pretty sweet. The Emperor's tunic, which is really high quality. Of course, you can buy holocrons for $50 a piece that probably don't do anything. But they are kind of cool. They're plastic, though. Let's see here. This Cole says this would take a lot of money, but if I were Disney, I would have moved the Star Wars stuff to Tomorrowland and moved into Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, a lot. I'm sure there was a lot of discussions on that because there's already quite a bit of Star Wars stuff there. But Tomorrowland is not. It's about half the size as Star Wars Land, as Galaxy's Edge. So they really built a huge thing. It's 14 acres. And it really is spectacular, guys. I'm not just exaggerating. So here's another little bit of prequel love. The cat from the Geonosis Arena. Blanking on the species name right now, but then we got a wampa. Let's see here. What else do we got? There's my very blurry picture of Bob Iger and George up there. Let's see. When I was at the thing, I met Kevin Feige, which was pretty cool, and Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka. She was like, "Oh, hi, Danny," and I'm like, "What? How do you know my name?" But I was wearing a name tag because I was working that night. I was going to be working that night. All right, looks like that's about it for my pictures that I took. But let's get back to the Star Wars pictures. Now, like I said, if you missed it, the whole point of the Millennium Falcon ride is that you are on a smuggling run for Hondo Ohnaka, and you're stealing coaxium. Yeah, that's right. You're stealing coaxium for the Resistance. And so you sit in the 6-person cockpit. The 2 people in the front pilot the ship. So one goes up and down, the other one goes left to right. The next 2 people fire the guns against all the TIE fighters that are chasing you, and the other 2 people are the engineers. So they kind of do the harpoon and tow cable when you're going after the elevated train, just like the heist in Solo. So that's what the ride is. It's like 4 minutes long, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty intense. And here we got Hondo, and so you are acting as Chewie in this game. And at the end, if you mess up, like Hondo takes his cut, and you guys actually end up losing money. So it's kind of funny. So Bryce Ross says the cat species in the arena are the Nexu. Thanks, man. Let's see here. Any other questions as we're going here? The animatronic of Hondo is really quite spectacular. He moves really fluidly for an animatronic. Pretty awesome. Kind of like even better than the new, say, Pirates of the Caribbean animatronics, like of Jack Sparrow, if you've seen those. But the Millennium Falcon, guys, is awesome. You got these massive spires, and it feels like you're in a sprawling world. the force perspective, these are much smaller than they probably would be, but since you're down on the ground, the force perspective feels like you're really looking up at a bunch of spires. All right, so that gold taco says, "Hey Danny, I'm just saying hi. I need to go soon. I drove by a Chipotle today." Oh, whoa, of course. Oh yeah, Vincenzo B with the super chat. Vincenzo, you are officially my first super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wasn't expecting anything. So thanks, guys. Let's see here. What other questions do you guys got? So there is I kind of skipped past it because I was looking for something. Here is, so in this picture, and the building to the right is the big store that I was talking about earlier, where you can buy, the lightsaber hilts and all the costumes and stuff like that. To the left is Docking Bay. It's a restaurant. It's the one I was talking about earlier. Here is the outdoor market, which is really, really quite cool. Lots of shops and where you can buy the colored popcorn and the other little trinkets. You can buy one of those salacious crumbs that goes on your shoulder that you can play with. There's a bunch of like animals in cages, fake animals, of course. There's a life-size X-Wing, which is really awesome, as well as a life-size A-Wing. Here we're back into the open-air markets where you can buy as many porg stuffed animals to your heart's content. We got right over here, we kind of got the speeder that Han drives in Solo, along with a couple other ones. Here's another entrance. So while I was there, I ran into Doug Chang, who was the art director for the prequels, and he helped design the entire place. And he said that the biggest like prequel kind of prequel love there are two pod race engines. One is supposed to be cooking the meat. It's like above the meat. Let me see if I can find that. Pretty sure it's called Rondo's Roaster. Not. If I can spell. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. So here's a concept art for it. You got this pod racer that's above the meat and it's cooking it. And it's pretty cool. It's even kind of blowing air. It's not hot air, unfortunately, but it's still a pretty cool thing. All right. So, like I said, I'd probably rate it about an 8 or a 9. I only got two qualms with it, really. The first being that it's all one planet. I would have loved to seen a sampling of different planets, but the one planet they did is it's just the level of detail is just astounding. It really, really is. Wow, they got a lot of pictures of food on the Star Wars website. My second kind of complaint is that it's all sequel trilogy. There's very little original trilogy love. There's very little prequel love. I honestly don't know if you'll ever see Darth Vader walking around this place. It's all sequel stuff. You do see Kylo Ren, and then entirely too that like if you're wearing a shirt from the All right, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know. My internet stinks. Um, so Galaxy's Edge is incredible. I really highly recommend going. I mean, it's an awesome experience. It's really quite it's stunning. It's just sweet, guys. I mean, you walk in and you're like, holy shnikes, this is cool. And I was very skeptical going into it. I didn't know what to expect. Um, and it is just straight up awesome. I mean, I walked around just by myself basically with nobody else there and just looking at all of the details and everything. It was just awesome. Um, Going back to, I wanted to show you one other video that I shot um, while I was there. I'll screen share again. Um, this is after the dedication, after people had already kind of left, and you kind of see just how cool it is. I mean, you got this shuttle that Kylo Ren comes down during like a show, and it's not your standard like show either. It's like there's a story being told as they're looking for a spy of the resistance. The First Order is looking for a spy of the resistance, and um, and so you really like as you go from place to place, you are seeing different scenes of the show, and so you're getting a bigger story as you go, and it makes it really awesome because you're constantly getting more to this story, and so that's really cool. So like if you go to my Instagram page, you can see part of that show where Chewie rescues the spy from the resistance officer and along with other resistance members. And then Kylo Ren shows up in his, Kylo Ren shows up in his shuttle and learns that the officer hasn't found him yet, and like chokes the officer. I don't know which one comes first, but and the resistance are constantly broadcasting messages onto jumbotrons throughout the park saying, don't rat them out. We're going to win this war. And so they've really tried to make it as immersive as possible. It's the most immersive park in Disneyland, not even a question about it. I mean, Frontierland, where the Indiana Jones ride is pretty awesome, but this doesn't even hold a candle to Galaxy's Edge. And so if you're worried about immersiveness, I wouldn't be. I would say that, if you wanted to see aliens walking around, there's not. I never saw any. If there are going to be, I have not seen them. So the cast members are just walking around in kind of, galaxy-looking tunics. I don't know, just regular clothes for the Star Wars universe. So I would have loved to have seen, Nemoidians walking around, or whatever species you wanna say, but there's not, unfortunately. And so 3 complaints, I guess. I wish it were more than just one world. Instead of just Batuu, I would have loved to see different planets from all the films. And honestly, I think Batuu is pretty awesome, but I think maybe they could have gone with a more alien planet. But it's cool. It's kind of like an Utapau. It's kind of what it reminds me of. Second being, I wish that it would have been not just all sequel trilogy. And third, I wish there would have been more aliens in the cast. But I am not disappointed at all by anything beyond that. It's really awesome. And, honestly, when you go to Disneyland, it costs an arm and a leg, but I feel like you get your money's worth. I know very few people who leave feeling that it was not worth the money. That being said, it's ridiculously expensive, and I wish the price would go down. Like for me, Luke is 5 and he's begging to go, but he's probably not going to go until he's like 20, because once you have kids, it's like, man, I got to pay how much per day? So, what questions do you guys? Any other questions before we kind of kick this to the curb here? Let me see. All right. Marco Nevis says, high immersion factor. Yeah, huge immersion factor. Paper Ball, what's up, man? Says, what kind of lightsabers did y'all get? And are the interactive areas worth buying one? I heard it was set up like wands in Wizarding World. And do stormtroopers make people leave after 4 hours? So paper ball, that's a great question. The making the lightsaber is very interactive. Like it's a whole like ceremony, honestly, that you build these lightsabers. And I'm just getting to a picture of the lightsabers so I can show you. And let me screen share and I'll show you a few other pictures here. And yeah, it's totally customizable. You can make an Old Republic looking lightsaber. You can make it look exactly like Anakin's. And so it's totally what you want. You get to choose the color. You are able to choose between these colors here: green, purple, blue, red. So you don't have a ton of choice in colors, but you got the standards. So there's, I don't believe there's a yellow, so no Temple Guard yellow here, but you got your standard Star Wars colors. And so you go in through this door right here, and you kind of come around the table. You make it through all these parts, and you put your saber inside one of these tubes right here, and it opens up, and then you pull your lightsaber out, and you're like, voila, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, just like that, with that type of music and everything. I'm just kidding. With a lightsaber, is it metallic or all plastic? Oh man, that's a good question, Marco. I believe it's metallic. I think it's metallic. I think it's kind of like an aluminum or something like that. Like it's not a super heavy metal. It's a light metal, but it's probably like aluminum or something like that. And you know, the kyber crystals kind of come out of this fancy dancy looking thing, whatever that might be. All right. So since there's only 5 of you watching, I think I'll probably wrap this up here. But in general, let me get off the screen share. In general, it's awesome. It's just utterly incredible. The Falcon is by far the best part, guys. You walk up and you look at that thing and you're just, your mind blows because it's like, it's incredible. It's the dang Millennium Falcon that you're looking at. I mean, how can it not be awesome? And I would highly recommend it almost exclusively on that. But it's pretty awesome. Oh, somebody else asked if you really get kicked out after 4 hours. Currently, yeah. You only get 4 hours in the land, which is enough time. I mean, it's 14 acres, but it's not, you know, outrageously huge. It's not like you can. I mean, I guess you could spend 12 hours there, but you could do everything in 4 hours if you set your mind to it. But the reason they're doing that is so that people can see it and everything. I believe that time limit is only for the first few weeks, while reservations are needed, I believe. And people are getting there super early in the morning to go. I saw some video of opening day that my friend shot, and people were just lining up just to get their ticket in Tomorrowland to go into Galaxy's Edge. And once they opened the gates, people were just flooding past. It was actually a pretty funny video. He was trying to get it to me, bless his heart, but we just never were able to hook up because I wanted to show it to you guys. But maybe I'll have to just do a formal video about this so you can kind of see it. So any other last minute questions before we take this out? Rise of the Millennium Falcon, you better believe it. Valzalel. Cool, man. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. I guess this is a little quick one. You know, once you guys learn more about the land, feel free to shoot me some questions too. I got some pretty awesome looks in it because, you know, I got to walk around this land in the middle of the night where there's nobody, and so I really got a kind of a view of it that not many people get. So I felt really fortunate. It was really awesome. I think you guys will really enjoy it. So thanks so much for joining me tonight, guys. And remember to stay tuned for the next video. Please share the channel, guys. Like the video. Would love to get more people watching because I like to share, you know, all the things I'm learning about filmmaking, and of course Star Wars, with you guys. So please share the channel. Tell your friends about it. Tell your grandma about it. You know, whatever, because I'm gorgeous, and maybe she needs something good to look at. I don't know. Let's just erase that whole spiel right there. But anyways, guys, love you. Thanks for watching, and remember to stay spiffy and don't do anything I wouldn't do twice.